Manchester United recorded a third successive clean sheet in all competitions for the first time since January 2023 in our latest outing against Crystal Palace. It is a statistic that will please manager Erik ten Hag, as the Reds are beginning to build a base in the backline after injuries had prevented such progress last term. Setbacks to defenders plagued our 2023-2024 campaign, despite United eventually recovering to claim Emirates FA Cup silverware against Manchester City back in May at Wembley Stadium. Our latest shutout against the Eagles marks 3 on the bounce following strong performances against Southampton and Barnsley respectively in the last 7 days. You have to go back to January 2023 for the last time the same feat was achieved, which again shows that patience and our work on the training ground is finally being put to smart use. The latest achievement could be seen in part thanks to some smart work from Andre Onana across the 90 minutes at Selhurst Park, especially for his heroics in the second period. In the first half, we conceded only one solitary shot to a side that has been a real threat going forward under Oliver Glasner. Eddie Nketiah's shot was well stopped by the Cameroonian before he followed up with an ever better save to prevent Ismaila Sarr on the follow-up. Credit must go to the partnership being formed along the back line, with both Lisandro Martinez and Matthijs de Ligt beginning to create something to be proud of, we must admit. Noussair Mazraoui also impressed at right back once more, with Diogo Dalot's diligent work in his unfamiliar left back role never going unnoticed. De Ligt could have even opened the scoring in the first half himself on 2 separate occasions, but was denied by former Red Dean Henderson in the Palace net. Manchester United put on a dominant display against Crystal Palace, but one of the worst performances came from captain Bruno Fernandes. The Red Devils left the capital frustrated after being held to a 0-0 draw at Selhurst Park. Dean Henderson stole the headlines with an incredible goalkeeping display, with the Manchester United Academy graduate making 7 saves. Crystal Palace also had their chances and were denied by a brilliant double save from Andre Onana, but United ended the match more disappointed at the result. It was a case of déjà vu for United, who failed to take their chances in front of goal. They continue to lead the Premier League in big chances missed after another wasteful performance. Fans did not hold back against Bruno Fernandes for his missed chances. The Portuguese playmaker, who is often one of the biggest goal threats on the pitch, is still yet to score this season. Bruno Fernandes has been a chance-creating machine for United since his move in 2020, and he has continued this season with 4 assists to his name already. But one of the biggest frustrations around his game is the amount of times he loses the ball. Of course, in order to create chances, he has to take risks, but sometimes he can tip the balance too far in one direction. Bruno Fernandes loses the ball more per match than most in the Premier League, but with United trying to control matches and dominate possession this season, he had improved his ball retention significantly at the start of this season. However, stats prove that he reverted to his old ways against Crystal Palace by losing possession 34 times. Fernandes lost possession against Palace more times than any other United player on the pitch by some margin too. Midfield partners Christian Eriksen and Kobbie Mainoo only lost the ball 17 and 10 times respectively, whereas Joshua Zirkzee lost it just 3 times while playing up front. Fernandes is appreciated for his creativity on the ball, but with United trying to sustain attacks and dominate games, it is a flaw he needs to work on. There's no denying that Fernandes had a poor game against Palace, but it was hardly a disaster. He has been such a consistent performer for United, and he will bounce back. United need their captain to chip in with goals, and at the moment he is struggling to get off the mark. But the games are now coming thick and fast, and it is only a matter of time until his name returns to the score sheet. Ultimately, there were a lot of positives about United's display against Crystal Palace, and had the side been more clinical, then Fernandes' performance would hardly even be a talking point. With back-to-back home games against Twente and Tottenham on the horizon, United must try and maintain the performance levels they showed against Palace. If they can, the goals will come. All of these mark a significant improvement in the defensive solidity of Manchester United, something Erik ten Hag has been working towards since injuries disrupted much of last season. This recent achievement underscores how much progress the team is making. Injuries last season severely hampered United's defensive options, leading to a lack of consistency at the back. The absence of key players meant that even when United managed to score, they often found themselves vulnerable defensively. This season, however, the Reds appear to have turned a corner in that department. Mazraoui has been a standout at right back, proving to be a bargain signing, while Diogo Dalot continues to adapt well at left-back in the absence of regular starters like Luke Shaw and Tyrell Malacia. While the defensive improvements are clear, the lack of clinical finishing is becoming a more pressing concern. United dominated the game against Crystal Palace, but a combination of missed chances and an outstanding performance by former Red Dean Henderson in goal left them frustrated. Bruno Fernandes, in particular, had a disappointing match which has drawn attention. His tendency to take risks is part of his role as the team's playmaker, but when those risks don't pay off, it can lead to breakdowns in United's forward momentum. That being said, Fernandes is no stranger to bouncing back from poor performances. He has been a consistent performer for United since his arrival and is still creating chances. His dip in form against Palace should be seen as a blip rather than a cause for long-term concern, but it's clear that United need him to regain his goal-scoring touch as they enter a busy period of fixtures. The upcoming games against FC 20 in the Europa League and Tottenham in the Premier League will be critical in assessing whether United can maintain their defensive resilience while addressing their finishing woes. Ten Hag will be looking for his side to turn their improved performances into victories, with a particular focus on being more ruthless in front of goal. As the team returns to training, the focus will likely shift to refining their attacking play. United have shown they can control games, dominate possession, and create chances, but they must be more clinical when those opportunities arise. This will likely be a priority in training, with the coaching staff working on movement in the final third, decision-making in front of goal, and set-piece execution. The recent return of key players to training, including Rasmus Hojlund, Mason Mount, Tyrell Malacia, and Victor Lindelof, adds to the optimism around the team's ability to improve. Their reintroduction to the matchday squad will give Ten Hag more options and tactical flexibility, allowing him to rotate his squad without compromising quality. With competition for places growing, this should push the team to step up their game even further. In conclusion, while United's defensive stability is encouraging, their ability to capitalize on scoring opportunities will determine how far they can go this season. The frustration of the 0-0 draw against Palace, in which they were arguably the better team, shows that there's work to be done. However, with consistent training and tactical tweaks, United are in a strong position to bounce back and secure positive results in their upcoming matches. It's a matter of turning good performances into wins, and if they can strike that balance, United could be poised for a strong run of form across competitions. As United prepare for the upcoming fixtures, it's clear the team is heading in the right direction. Now, it's all about turning solid performances into victories. What do you think United needs to do to sharpen their attack? Share your thoughts and predictions for the upcoming games, and let's keep the conversation going.